A few neutral cards here and there, but the Froggy is always a special one. So we're hopping into Akamarured versus Akai very shortly here. Haven Rune versus Rune Sword. I want to see Sword win, just because it's Sword. What do you guys think?
Well, Akamarured back in the public library. Sweet.
Again, guaranteed that he was going to win today. No losses to his name, so we're going to see if he can put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, he believes that he can't lose. Okay, you know what? I'm inclined to believe him. Okay,
that's right. Akamarured hasn't shown us any reason to doubt him yet. So.
Yep. I mean, he's in the public library. He's jamming out to some music. He's eating some food. He's catching some drinks. This man is ready to play some card games.
Competitive arena right now, his full comfort zone. So let's talk about the hands real quick. So Akamarured did kind of like high rolly mulligan by keeping the Eagle Man and throwing back the rest. Got a good draw because he's Akamarured, and we see Akai over here with a pretty good draw. He's got a 2-drop into the Pompous Princess, which will fetch a 1-drop out of his deck into play, and then he can follow that up if the Princess lives with 2 more Centaur Vanguards. Which, if you don't know what that card does, is it gains Storm if you have an allied commander in play. So very good aggressive draw here.
I love your logic because he's Akamarured.
Sure, why not, man? That's as good as reasons as any.
Reasons. Because reasons. That's why.
Yeah, because reasons. Because he's got red in his name. Because he reminds me of Akuma from Street Fighter. You know, whatever reasons you want to throw out there, it's all good.
Okay, that's fine. All right, okay, all right. That's a little more passable than because it's Akamarured, I guess. All right, let's get into this game, man. All right, so Akai, did his best to kind of set up a little bit of a board here, but Akamarured is sitting in a very decisive advantage right now. It was also very wise of him to take out the commander, because kind of take away that commander officer synergy that is actually very prevalent in Akai's deck right now because of these Centaur Vanguards.
Very prevalent. So even though Akamarured is getting one of the best on the play draws you can get, Beast Call on the multiple neutrals into Eagle Man, Akai is actually putting together a pretty formidable board with a bunch of Storm to follow up. He's got the Novice Trooper, he's got the Alwita's Command, he's got another Centaur Vanguard. So essentially he's got another, without any Evos, 7 damage sitting in hand. So if he can push even just a little bit of damage with the followers that he has in play here, depending on how defensive Akamarured gets, he might just be able to finish out pretty quickly.
Now, I actually really am like... this play kind of is a little weird. Now, here's my question to you. Would you have cleared out the carrot so you could play the Eagle Man this turn? Oh, he has your net. Okay.
It looks like he's doing that. So, what it looks like he's done here is clear the entire board out, and then do the thing we were talking about. Play these super aggressive boards, get that Eagle Man to defend the board, and now the situation completely flip-flops. Like, this is exactly what you want to see when you're playing Neutral Haven. It looks just gross, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is a get the bag moment, okay?
Yeah.
And Akamarured is dancing. Oh my god. I love this guy. I love this guy.
Super comfort zone.
Yeah, he is killing that music, or rather, it's killing his ears. And this is basically a concession. Like,
yeah,
this is a concession.
Ephemera Pass is basically like, I don't really have any other good plays. I have to set up for Alwita's maybe. Like, this does set up for Alwita's in the fact that when he plays Alwita's, he can evolve the then 2/3 to attack into the 5 toughness Eagle Man so that he can push 4 damage with. Right, but yeah, he's just dead, yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to talk about stuff, outside of the obvious, alright?
I understand, man, but sometimes the guy's dead. When he's dead, he's dead, okay? Like,
I don't want to admit that Akamarured won yet, okay? I just didn't want to admit it. Really I've gotta take him down a little bit whenever I can, okay? That's just the rule.
Okay. I mean, he did say he wouldn't lose, so, like, I mean,
right.
But aside from that, the game was already over. Like,
clearly, there was 1,000,000 points of power on that board. Literal 1,000,000.
Yeah.
All right. So this matchup is actually a pretty even matchup. It really just depends on what Akamarured Red's mid-game looks like. So he's playing the neutral rune, again, the package that we've been seeing. And if he gets a good mid-game, that can basically flush out Akai's hand. Like, if Akai doesn't have the Master Mage Levi's in time, if he doesn't have Professor of Taboos, you know, some form of big AoE removal to fill out that mid-game, then Akamarured Red could run away with this. But, on the same token, if it's backwards, where Akamarured Red doesn't get any big followers and he just plays a bunch of small ones and does get wiped, then the game could just be over from that point.
Yeah, now, the difference between Neutral Rune and Neutral Haven, to those who don't know, is that Neutral Haven is generally stronger at putting together bigger boards, whereas Neutral Rune is very good at coming up with ways of using storm damage, and even having ways of keeping cards in the hand through cards like Witch's Suites or even Wizardess of Oz for the particular decks that want to run that. So there's a significant difference between the two decks.
Yep. And what the other really big positive of Neutral Rune and why people like to run it is because of Wizardess and the Witch of Suites, you actually have multiple ways of just filling out the board on turn after turn after turn. So you're never going to put together a board like you saw last game, where you have a bunch of big followers followed up by a big ward. You're just going to see a bunch of small followers followed by a bunch of small followers, or the mid-gamey options with Felice and even all the way up to Gilgamesh with just one big follower at a time dealing storm damage. So it has kind of two good angles of attack.
Yep. Now, just a little bit of, you know, foresight here while Akamarured Red tries to figure out his turn. Or Red, let's talk about, you know, just the future. Do you think in the next set, not based on anything...
Wait. Did you see how we just attacked right there?
Yeah.
Did you see how we just attacked right there?
I did. So actually, let's rewind and not even go to my question. I want to know what his mindset for that line of play was. Okay.
He's still dancing, so he's confident in that play.
Yeah, but I want to know why he's confident in that line. Because, like...
It was just the wrong play.
Yeah, but is he saying, like, in that play...
Was that a taunt?
You know what? I think it is. I think it is. I think he's saying, I can't lose.
I can't lose. Doesn't matter how I play.
I can play absolutely terrible, and I can't lose.
You're done
You know?
All right. Moving on. What was your question?
Okay, my question. You feel it just not even based on any knowledge that we have prior to now, based on the next set. But do you think in the next set the neutral heavily dominant as it is currently?
It really just depends. We haven't seen any of the support cards yet, the cards that can actually remove early boards. So, we're just gonna have to figure that out. I have no idea just yet. Not enough cards have been removed. But,
oh, I mean, just a gut feeling. Just not like anything based on any knowledge of any of the cards. Just a gut feeling.
I would imagine that the designers of the game are fully aware of neutral right now. So, yes, I would imagine that it won't be as dominant as we see it at the moment. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we get to see Akamarured Red going into his endgame. He's got the 2 Felice. He's only got 1 evolution orb. Of course, the enhance got taken away from Felice. No free evolutions for her anymore. So definitely has at least another push in his hand with one of the Felices. But that's all he's got left. No Wizardess, no Witch's Suites, no like refill options here.
Right. So, oh man, Akamarured Red still in a, you know, good spot. You know, good enough, rather. He's kind of... It looks like he's pretending to think about his play. Like...
Well, honestly, this one can get a little tricky. He's only got 1 neutral in hand, so Felice can only deal 1 damage. So it can't really clear out either of the minions in play. It's really just, does he want to play one just to get the extra 4 damage in this turn? Does he want to save the evolution orb? Maybe he wants to play the Grimnir this turn. Probably not the Grimnir. He probably wants to keep the neutrals in hand, but...
Why would you not just go straight for his face? It's just my question, right? Like, I mean, we've already seen that he doesn't even care if his plays are good or not. So...
Right. What we mean by that is he attacked a 0-1 with a 2-2 instead of the 1-2 that he had, and basically reduced his damage by 1 this game.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that actually comes into play. The 7 toughness here actually very hard to deal with on Akai's side of the board. He's going to have to run a lot of value into this.
But, like I said, this is one of those things where I feel like Akai could kind of make a comeback. We can see that again. Felice doesn't actually have any.
Right.
So he could actually have a comeback. He does have Illusionist, but he doesn't. He hasn't played any high cost followers, but that can help with starting to push through and make a board. Start pressure.
You figured it out. Yeah, it's really gonna come down to what he draws into, maybe what this Illusionist pulls, because he can Illusionist plus Red Hot Ritual this turn, which I'm pretty sure he's gonna have to. He could have gone with the Goblin Mage, but I think this is a higher value play, especially now. Perfect.
That was great. That was a great pull.
Yep.
So he didn't have to use his Evo point. He has a 4/4 in play. That Alice is actually okay. It's gonna, yeah. Alice.
See, if I were Akamarured Red in this position, I probably would have held the Grimnirs. Like, you're already in a pretty dominating position as far as life totals is concerned. There's not really a reason to throw away the value Grimnirs this early, especially when you know it's just going to get traded into.
Right. I do find it a little questionable for him to play the Grimnirs. I mean, just playing the Alice and passing would have been just fine. He's not in any danger of losing, you know? So, I do find that that's a little weird. I like that, though.
That was a pretty good draw. That might actually just be GG.
Yeah, because there is no way that he can...
He can't...
Stop it! Stop! Oh my god! He did the shrug! Yo! He's 5-0! He's 5-0!
Doing it.
Somebody put something in the European player's coffee today.
I think so.
I have no idea what happened there. But Akamarured